The rest of this section essentially deals with the unhealed or fearful healer. As long as the belief in separation remains and is inherent in what we do, there will be fear. Separation always breeds fear, and even though we may be helping others on the level of form, if we believe this is of God and we are different from those we help, we have this wonderful gift. We reinforce and sow the seeds for separation and future illness. However, while healing is independent in a form, it does not mean that if we have an ability that helps others, we should not use it. But we need not participate in the illusion of specialness, that we are somehow different from those we help. In other words, we should not think our abilities are anything of value in themselves. Our differences in form are nothing more than superficial expressions that need not conceal the content of the inherent sameness of God's sons. This is the crucial difference between the ego's special love and God's. I really feel like that's worth repeating, so I'm going to read it again. The rest of this section essentially deals with the unhealed or fearful healer. As long as the belief in separation remains and is inherent in what we do, there will be fear. Separation always breeds fear, and even though we may be helping others on the level of form, if we believe this is of God and we are different from those we help, we have this wonderful gift. We reinforce and sow the seeds of separation and future illness. However, while healing is independent of form, it does not mean that if we have an ability that helps others, we should not use it. But we need not participate in the illusion of specialness, that we are somehow different from those we help. In other words, we should not think our abilities are anything of value in themselves. Our differences in form are nothing more than superficial expressions that need not conceal the content of the inherent sameness of God's sons. This is the crucial difference between the ego's special love and God's. As we now read, love is incapable of any exceptions. Only if there is fear does the idea of exceptions seem to be meaningful. Exceptions are fearful because they are made by fear. The fearful healer is a contradiction in terms, and is therefore a concept that only a conflicted mind could possibly perceive as meaningful. We know we are fearful or unhealed healers when we do not accept all members of the sonship as brothers, and this we do when we believe we are separate from them. Our protestations to the contrary, we do not love but fear them, for this is the inevitable result of seeing others as different, the sine qua non of specialness. This only makes us unhappy and feel even more conflicted than before. It strengthens, not weakens, the ego's thought system of separation and fear. Fear does not gladden, healing does. Fear always makes exceptions, healing never does. Fear produces dissociation because it induces separation. Healing always produces harmony because it proceeds from integration. It is predictable, because it can be counted on. Everything that is of God can be counted on, because everything of God is wholly real. Healing can be counted on because it is inspired by His voice and is in accord with His laws. Yet, if healing is consistent, it cannot be inconsistently understood. Understanding means consistency, because God means consistency. Since that is His meaning, it is also yours. Once again, the red flag that alerts us to the mind's choice for the ego is our making exceptions to God's perfect oneness, seeing His Son as fragmented. Guilt is inevitable then because we accuse ourselves of inconsistency in love. We love some people sometimes for some things. This inconsistency is another hallmark of separation and attack, the ego's bread and butter. Projecting our perceived sin, we cannot help accusing others of being inconsistent in their love and therefore undependable. We can count on no one, including God, because we secretly believe we have betrayed love's constancy, and as a result, our own meaning. Instead, inconsistency becomes the meaning of our days and hours, for as we seek to perceive it in others, including God, our sin remains unhealed. The unhealed healer wants gratitude from his brothers, but he is not grateful to them. That is because he thinks he is giving something to them and is not receiving something equally desirable in return. His teaching is limited because he is learning so little. His healing lesson is limited by his own ingratitude, which is a lesson in sickness. If I believe I have an ability that the sick person lacks, I am as sick as the one I think is in need of healing. As an unhealed healer, I cannot be grateful to my brothers because I see them as different from me and do not see them in the mirror of the underlying unity of the sonship, which is what I need to remember. Restated, we must want to recall the changeless in God's Son so as to forget the change of separation the ego has us perceive and make into reality. We read, "When you heal, that is exactly what you are learning. You are recognizing the changeless mind in your brother by realizing that he could not have changed his mind. That is how you perceive the Holy Spirit in him. It is only the Holy Spirit in him that never changes his mind. He himself may think he can, or he would not perceive himself as sick. He therefore does not know what his self is. If you see only the changeless in him, you have not really changed him. By changing your mind about his for him, you help him undo the change his ego thinks it has made in him." Our one responsibility, paralleling the acceptance of the atonement for ourselves, is to choose the teacher of the right-minded change, who heals our minds by gently correcting our wrong-minded decision of having substituted illusion for truth. By recognizing the mistake in having changed from changelessness, we remind the sonship it never left the changeless. Only in our nightmarish dreams of sin did the impossible occur. Asking the Holy Spirit for help reflects the decision to open our eyes and look upon the changeless in our brothers. Change having been brought to changelessness, we are healed as one. Through the discussion of forgiveness and healing, this chapter has reflected to us the oneness of heaven, our true reality. Accepting the Holy Spirit's teaching undoes the ego's thought system, which basically is nothing, although it seems to be gargantuan in size and scope, saying to us that oneness is an illusion and differences are real. Our teacher helps us learn to see ourselves as sharing the same interests with everyone. The need to escape from the ego's insanity, And this right perception is the stepping stone that leads us home to the oneness we never left. And that is the conclusion of Chapter 7. I love you.